The movement for the emancipation of the Niger Delta, or MEND, has spoken out against the resolution reached by Niger Delta stakeholders. Efforts are underway to end militants' vandalism of the oil infrastructure in the region. Militant groups, including the Niger Delta Avengers, are calling for a more equal share of the oil wealth among local communities. MEND is angry as the Niger Delta stakeholders have failed to denounce the Avengers' activities. The group is preparing to tour the region to solicit support for President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. Well, let's get to the latest on that now. I'm joined live from Abuja, Nigeria, by CCTV's Sophia Adengo. Sophia, first of all, what's been the government's reaction to this ceasefire announced by the Niger Delta Avengers?
Well, although the Niger Delta Avengers have shown a sense of contrition, in this case agreeing to a cessation of hostilities and putting down their arms in attacking oil installations in the Niger Delta area, as we have seen continuously over the last 12 months, the Nigerian government has, of course, expressed a sense of relief here in Nigeria, really on an economic side. As you know, the vandalism that took place, especially over the second to the third, into the third quarter here, has caused significant, interruptions in the supply of crude oil, which Nigeria depends on, and of course, in these tough economic times, really requires a consistent flow. So the Nigerian government, on one hand, politically has seen a ray of hope, let's say, and on the other hand, economically has perhaps seen at least a stoppage of these violent acts, and of course, in supply of placing their crude barrels internationally. Lindy.
Well, of course, on the other hand, you have MEND saying that the ceasefire should be disregarded. Sophia, why is MEND at odds with the Niger Delta Avengers?
Well, the group that you're referring to are, they call themselves emancipators of the Niger Delta, and really they're another faction of many armed groups in the Niger Delta, and their focus on the Niger Delta Avengers specifically is that they believe that the Nigerian government is negotiating with a group that has, quote, engaged in criminal activities and also acted in a treasonable manner. And the MEND leadership really feels that the Niger Delta has not been addressed. The issues that have been agitated for in the past have not been fully addressed. And indeed, the Niger Delta Avengers could perhaps, in their words, be, allowing the government to take over, despite the fact that many of their points or many of their concerns have not been directly addressed. Lindy.
And of course, Sophia, as you mentioned earlier, what's at stake here is that oil supply that Nigeria so heavily depends on. Just give us the latest so far on the economic impact of this conflict.
Well, Lindy, when we spoke to Ibe Kachuku, he's the petroleum minister here in Nigeria, and he is very confident that the Nigerian oil supply will rebound. Currently, Nigeria is putting out about 1.5 million barrels a day, which is falls short almost by 900 barrels, really in providing the 2.2 million barrels that the current budget is based on. And, the minister has consistently asserted that if the militant situation was contained and if the militants were to stop their direct vandalism to these multinational pipelines that actually deliver this crude and is able to be sold, then perhaps the economy would see a rebound in the sale and the revenue that has been realized. And also, Nigeria at this moment is really struggling in providing, a marginable market share that has been seen. Oil was sold at about $100 per barrel, and that has significantly dropped to well under $50 a barrel. And it's hoped that if the militancy is contained, therefore the revenue will be realized with the supplemented oil that will be provided. But on a whole, Ibe Kachuku, the minister, is confident that this indeed in the long term, in terms of managing the Niger Delta, will be contained. Lindy.
Thank you very much for that update. Sophia Adengo, live for us there in Abuja, Nigeria.